Hey, and thank you for clicking play. Now, as previously discussed, my Tenstar Games pack is all pretty much defunct. Won't bore you with the details now, but essentially none of them work. So what I've done for each of them is create a backup disk, which at the moment is on high density disks, but now that I've got access to some double density disks, I can put those on double densities over time, but some of them have cracked rows. So I have been repurchasing them. I repurchased about 7 of them shortly after returning from my UK trip in 2019, so beginning of 2020, very early 2020, had them shipped to my parents' place in the UK, of course, because, hey, guess what? I'd pick them up anytime, you know, my next trip, my 2020 trip. My 2020 trip, my 2020 trip. Of course I would be able to pick them up then. Something kind of got in the way. So they're still there, and I can't even remember which ones I've repurchased, but I know one of them wasn't Barbarian. So, just to show you how bad Barbarian was, these were all really, really squeaky. And some were worse than others. Tried cleaning them, didn't really help at all. And Barbarian, I actually went to the trouble of taking it apart to see what I was dealing with because I really wanted to get this working. But essentially, the middle of the disc is separated from the disc itself. So that is how bad a shape Barbarian is in. So, as previously discussed, I have repurchased a copy off eBay. And it's this one. So the seller that sold me F-16 Combat Pilot also sold me this. But as you can see there, that's got the, and there's quite a few of these copies. Well, they're not copies, they're originals, I believe. But they are consistently wrong in terms of how they're labelled. That's how most of the Tenstar Games pack is, even to this day. Nice white labels. And there's these ones going around, which are, as you can see, very yellow, and you'll notice that label is actually upside down. It's been incorrectly, that bit that says Barbarian there should be on the reverse there. Now I don't think they're illegitimate copies because there's so many consistent ones that the theory is that it's just how they started to do runs towards the end, you know, rush runs and what have you. So the question really remaining is, does this work? And is there a cracked row on it? Because that would tell us that it's a pirate copy. So that's what we're going to look at today. Now, my plan was, if this does work, that I could swap the interiors over. This one's completely buggered, but this is the label I want. I think it would be too hard to remove this label, remove that label, and swap labels over. But let me just show you. And as you see, I mean, this one's already cracked open and I still couldn't get the damn thing open. Because I had a heap of double density discs, as you know, in that big tub, I thought some of them I'd already put in the bin, and I went fishing back through the bin, which does have food scraps and stuff in there as well, believe it or not. I thought, no, wait a minute, those discs that are way beyond use, I can actually use them to practice pulling apart discs, re-putting them back together again. Aha, see, good thought. Now this is, this is the outcome of that. Look, this is what's happened to the inside of my original Barbarian, but this is from another disc. So this actually happens to discs. So, you know, mold and stuff is one thing, and look at the mess on that. I don't know if you can see that. It's absolutely horrible. But this is a thing that happens, separation of disc and, you know, the centerpiece and the magnetic surface. There's no way to fix that. Okay. Now, the other problem I have is when pulling these apart, just trying to get this off in a way that doesn't damage it, and then put it back on again in a way that means the spring still works, doesn't appear to be a skill I've got. So that's an issue. Then you've got the issue of, well, if you pull the interior out, no matter how carefully, this might happen again to the other copy. So that's a risk. And here's another risk. This one, you know, when practicing how to open the disc, is just completely knackered. The other thing that happens is the spring gets caught and that gets all bent out of shape. These were all seriously beyond use discs that I've done this practice on, so don't hate me. So even though this label isn't really the kind of label that I want and in the right orientation, if this is a working copy, I'm not going to risk this kind of damage just to have the right label. So it'll just be another thing, you know, eventually I'll get the one that I want. But for now, this will just be, it'll be better than the copy that I've got in here. So the copy that I've made is on there, but that has a crack tray, okay? Because it's a copy. So at least it should be a legitimate original copy. So let's put it in and let's see if it fires up. And we'll see how far I can get in the game. But I'm not gonna, I thought this might be a disc restoration video, swapping interiors out and stuff like that. Hopefully you can understand. I don't want this to happen to either of these Barbarian discs. I don't want that to happen. So this will be good enough for now. Let's see if it works. Okay, let's see what we can do with the yellow label copy of Barbarian. It's right protected. First time I put this in a drive. Any squeaks and grinds are going to get swiftly ejected. This was advertised as tested and working to boot. So to loading, tested to load. Sounds nice and clean. I was actually going to do a movement test. That's generally what I would do with these, just see how free the disc moves. Forgot to do that. Sounds fine. I think I looked at it when it first arrived. So I think we should be fine. No sign of a crack tray, so that's good. It's a genuine copy. Sounds funny, doesn't it, saying genuine copy? Bit of an oxymoron. So, I mean, if this loads, I'll be happy. That'll be fine. It would be nice to get it round to the correct label. Look at that, loaded, first time, no crack tray. I'm happy with that. And that gives me hope that it is still possible to get working games from the Tenstar Games pack. So, because they clearly weren't done on the best media. I think they might have been on a bit on the cheap. Right, well, if we're not doing a restoration, this is turning into a gameplay video. I have done Barbarian before. I think I have to press F1 or 1. There we go, F1. I have done Barbarian before, but it was in emulation. So for those of you that don't like seeing games played in emulation, this is genuinely on the Amiga, as you can see, loaded from a disc. We're going to do it the boring way. Let's see how far we can get. God, level 1, and I'm... Can't do my trick on me. Get. I haven't taken a hit yet. Oh, he's getting tricky. Oh. Come on. Oh, I want to chop his head off. Ooh. Me and my brother would play this for hours, eh? And one of my mates, Alex, I think we used to play this quite a lot together as well. Steve, I'm sure we played this, didn't we? Oh, come on. Yeah, all right, kick him over. That'll do ya. Level 1 done. I have beaten this back in the day. Quite disappointing when you get to the wizard at the end, to be honest. I found it very easy to beat. Ooh, I went for it. Right, see if we can get a bit of a combo going. Obviously not. There's no combo happening there. Oh, he doesn't like being backed into a corner anymore. Right. Oh, I got him in the face, but his head didn't come off. Must have a thick neck. Yeah, so doing a full spin with your broadsword, if you get him in the neck, will chop his head off. But if you get him in the jaw, he's all right and he's keen to keep fighting, even though the power behind the swing is the same. Let's face it. Ooh, I'm gonna have ya. Oh, he tried to nut me. I can't remember how you do all the moves, I must confess. So nutting must be like that. That's how you nut. I didn't get him though. Oh, stop doing that. Stop. Ooh, ooh. Now you're probably now going for him because you're thinking, we're not going to watch this for, how many levels is it? 6 levels? I don't know. There we go. All right. No decap still. Smack him in the face. And they're fine to keep fighting another day. Who'd have thought? I might currently be comparing my reprint A4 poster with the cover itself. Maybe. Oh, come on. I'm going to have you. This is the dullest way to win, isn't it? I don't remember in Conan there just being lots of rolling on the floor, if I'm honest. It wouldn't have been the best movie, would it? But as I said, when I did this in emulation, this was Street Fighter before Street Fighter, really wasn't it? I mean, the amount of moves and combos and stuff, and it's quite weird how you pull them off. If you can't remember, if you haven't played this for a while, it's about holding the fire button down and then doing something with your joystick, rather than doing something with your joystick and then hitting fire, which is what we've now become used to in this kind of genre. But it works because it gives you so many options. It basically turns a single fire button into, and he's going to quickly count in his head now, well, essentially 9 different options, really. 8, call it 8. Up, down, left, right, that's 4. And then you've got your diagonals as well. And so depending on which way you pull the joystick whilst you're holding fire, that dictates what you do. So it literally turns a single fire button into 8 fire buttons, which is, well, that puts it on a par with things like Street Fighter. And then in terms of combos and stuff, well, it's down to how you put those moves together, really. God, I got him. So, it's fantastic. We played this to death, especially me and my brother John. And I know it would be one of those, if you didn't know what to play, you got a friend round, you just pull out Barbarian. Because it's just a winner every time, really. And I'm going to my preferred combo, as you can see. When times are tough, roll them into the corner. And you just have to be patient with it. Oh no, unless he kicks you in the shin. Oh, I'm getting desperate now. He's come back a little bit. He's doing it the boring way, but it works. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work. Roll away. Run away. No, come on. I'll have you. No, I won't. Oh, that's it. Oh, you've set yourself up now. Oh, I'm getting desperate. I could, if I did it the boring. Oh. If I'd stuck to being boring, I could have had it. But look, there's only so much I can say to this game. I have a working copy. I'm gutted. I don't know. If you've got any ideas of, is there a way to safely swap these labels over? If you've got an idea that you think would work, let me know. 005, there we go. But that is clearly a genuine version of Barbarian. If you've got an idea of how I could safely swap these labels, let me know in the chat. I mean, I could try heat gun it off. I just think it's gonna go wrong. I know it's gonna go wrong if I try it. And I'm not going to try swapping the interiors of the discs out, because this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen if I try that. And so I'm not happy to do that. This is the interior of this disc. As you can see, that's where it's separated out from the first time I pulled it apart. And that explained, as soon as I opened it, it just fell apart. And that explained the squeaking I was hearing, because essentially it was this spinning, and this staying completely still. So that can't be repaired. I don't know. Worst case, what I could do is, I guess, I could hold on to this, and if I find somebody in Perth with a grease weasel, or I end up selling one myself, I could then take an image of, now there's a thought, I could take an image of the disc with the yellow label. Yes. So there will be a follow-up, and it might be in a year's time, I don't know. But I could take an image of that disc in there. I could write it onto an innard from any other double density disc, a good quality double density disc. And then I could put that innard in here, because there's nothing wrong with this case. That might be the way forward. I'll keep you posted. But look, I'm happy. Got a working copy of Barbarian. Result. Thanks guys, thanks for watching.